Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Today we are in the pig forest and we're going to show you and tell you and explain how we raise our pigs and our pork for us to eat for years for literally $0. We have $0 in our pigs, and how we raise our pigs to show you can raise your pork in your backyard, on your homestead or on your farm for literally $0. I'm going to show you today. Me and the boys have to move some pigs anyway and piglets, so we'll talk about it along the way. If you're new to the Max, go down here, push subscribe, ring the bell. Hopefully you're enjoying our content, and we thank you for watching. But here we go, let's get started. What we're gonna do, let's go ahead and put the American Guinea Hog mom and daddy together. The other babies will separate in one part of the, and we've got the other two babies we've got to get from the other mom and daddy down here as well. So if you have watched us for any length of time, you know we raise two sets of hogs. This is the pig forest. It's about 3 to 4 acres. We're raising American Guinea Hog heritage breed, and then we're also raising a commercial Yorkshire Berkshire cross for our bacons and hams. We've got some extra nets in here. We rotate inside the forest. We've separated the boar and sow because they have had piglets, and of course we've sold all the piglets other than just a few. We'll keep these because they have not sold yet. They're still for sale, so hopefully somebody will pick those two up. But we've already sold about five or six out of that litter, which ultimately comes down to what we're going to be talking about today and how we pay for our feed and how we pay for our farm with our pigs. So we're going to split them right quick, and then we'll talk about the American Guinea Hog, and then we'll rotate talking about the commercial and how we raise them and how we provide our pork for a year. People ask all the time why we rotate our pigs, or how much land do you need to rotate pigs, or do you keep them always in the forest? Before we had the forest fenced off, we put a perimeter fence around the forest, and then we use these Premier One nettings to go through the forest to maneuver them on new spots, new paddocks, and new pig areas every few weeks. Reason being is that they're not eating on or around their manure. They're not making bad mud holes. They're not causing issues to where vegetation won't naturally grow back. See, look, this is the forest that they're in, and this will be where the little piglets go now. Because we rotate them heavy, you see where, oh, for instance, this is where one just got out of, the boar. This is where the sows were. She's right there now. She's supposed to rotate back into this area with the boar, which is pure vegetation. You see the difference there. And then this whole corner up here has not had any pigs on it in weeks. Remember, you do not need a lot of land to raise hogs, but you do need to rotate them, because here there's no smell. I know you don't have smell-o-vision to tell that it doesn't stink, but because we rotate the hogs, it's no smell here. They're not covered in mud. They're not laying in slop. The reason being is because we rotate them, and pigs are actually not that nasty of an animal. They don't stink unless you give them a place to stay in and you never rotate them. If you give them slop or a mud hole, or you don't rotate them, they're gonna be nasty and they're gonna get gross. However, if you move them, rotate them, just like you would any other animal, they tend to stay pretty clean. The reason we raise the American Guinea Hog and commercial. The American Guinea Hog first. We have a video on the American Guinea Hog. It's an old one, but it does talk about a lot of good things about them, pros and cons. They are a slow growing hog. However, they're a heritage breed. So they're a lard hog. They're gaining a lot of weight, but a lot of their weight is held on the lard on the outside. So if you're wanting good bacon and real thick pork chops, this is not the hog for that. This is more of a lard hog that can be a pet, but really more than that, they're a docile, slow growing, succulent pork pig. They have great quality meat. We actually ate a pulled pork off one of our hogs just today. And what they're providing is a good quality hog, not a lot of rooting. So if you're in an area that you're scared they're going to root up or tear up a yard, these are the kind of hogs that you're wanting. If you're getting used to hogs, these are also good hogs because they're not rambunctious. Pretty much when they eat, they'll root around a little bit and then they're going to lay down. They're a typical, more of a lazier hog. A lot of times people raise these for pets. Now that brings up the first point. We raise these for two reasons. One is for self-sufficiency. We're providing our own lard off these pigs. These pigs are providing piles of lard. In the South, we can't grow oils, so the oils become our dairy cow that makes butter, and then of course are lard hogs that provide true lard. It allows us to have oils to cook in and utilize here on farm. That's the main reason we raise them, for our self-sufficiency. Secondly, the reason we raise them is because a lot of people like to try hogs out, and they tend to lean towards the heritage breed because they're slower grower, they're not as big, and also they are easier to deal with. The piglets sell for a higher price. So a traditional pig for us, the American Guinea hog, their piglets, I got 2 over here I'm gonna try to find in forest. You see them running through there. They're supposed to get 2 more in there. We've sold 6 of them, and we typically can sell these for $175 a piece. If someone's buying a good bit of them, we may can even drop it to $150, but I've seen them upwards of $200, $250, $300, depending on the quality breed. If it's a Mangalista, if it's a IPP or Idaho pasture pig, if it's these American Guinea hogs, or if it's the Kune Kune. All those are heritage breeds. They tend to sell for more money. So that's a good point. So let's think about that for a second. We're raising them. They're providing lard. Their babies sell for a lot more money, and they're docile, which means they're not burning a lot of energy. So they're building up their lard. They're not eating as much as some of the bigger hogs, because once they eat, once they forage a little bit, they're laying down. So that's talking about the American Guinea hogs. Now let's jump over to the commercial, and then we're going to discuss how we do all this for no cost and how we have our pork for free. We've got the commercial hogs here. We're filling up their water. We've got them on the other side of the forest. Hogs basically drop babies. It takes them in a kind of a gestational hog period. It's 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days. So 4 months, you're dropping piglets. That means you could have 3 litters a year, which we're not, because again, I would never do that to our mama. That's too much. So we at least try to have 2 litters a year, and every other year, or every 2 or 3 years, you may have a 3rd litter on one of those years, just because of the rotation. So when we drop babies, anywhere from 5 to 10 babies, depending on what hog, we're gonna let them nurse their babies, so they're not being fed. So it's not costing me anything on those piglets. All I'm doing is feeding the mama, and our ratio we're fixing to go over, but they're eating the same ratio, because I'm feeding my sows probably a little bit heavier than what some people do, just because I want to make sure they're passing good nutrients to their babies and growing great quality hogs. We know we're dropping piglets twice a year. We have 1, 2, 3 mamas right now on farm. Now we usually have 4 to 5, but we have 3 mamas on farm. So let's just do their numbers right quick, and we'll get a good basis of where we're at so far and what it costs to raise these hogs, and then how we pay for them. So essentially we have 4 stages of pig life right here in this forest. This is going to be 3 on the American Guinea hogs. Now let me elaborate. Because of their 4-month gestation, 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days, we've got a boar who's bred the sows, who's had babies. We separate them just like we always do with the others. And of those babies, I think we had, how many do we have in that last litter of the commercials? 10 to 12?
10 or 11.
So we had 10 to 12 pigs. We wanted to keep 3 males for us to consume. The commercial hogs sell for a little bit less than what the heritage hogs bring. So we sell those usually for 100 to 125. If someone's buying a lot, we may sell them for $75 a piece, because they're not as wanted in this area as much as the heritage breed. However, if you're wanting bacon and big hams and big pork chops, you need a commercial hog versus the American Guinea hog. So now we have got 7 pigs we've sold off this last litter at least. We've sold 5 to 6 pig of American Guinea hog for that litter. Now, because of those sales, now let's talk about what it costs to raise these and how selling those pays for raising these. So we just put up two brothers, 500 pounds of meat. As we're breeding 2 more sows, we have 3 piglets that are running around the forest, and they're getting built up for slaughter for us, for processing. Now, these are the newest ones, the new babies. They're acclimating. The reason we put them like this is because they're big enough to take care of themselves, but small enough to still go underneath this pen here. We need them acclimated with the other hogs. So the big hogs can't get into this little area. However, the little hogs can get out. So we put them here, we give them a little mud hole just because there's not a lot of shade right here except for in that corner. And we allow them to acclimate themselves by smelling each other through the wire and through the fence. So we have got pregnant mamas, 3 to 4 month old babies that we're raising up for our consumption, 7 to 8 month old babies that we've got out here in the forest that still lack about 4 months, the ones that we just slaughtered. Now that's the circle that we've got. American guinea hog, same way. They're not dropping 2 litters. There's either a reason with the boar or the sow or age. All that can play into it. But our goal is to have a good breeding set of hogs that are raising 2 litters per year. Now, if they're dropping 5 to 10 piglets per litter, sometimes less, sometimes more, but on average. Now we've got 2 sets of litters from the American guinea hogs. We have 4 sets of litters from the commercial hogs because we're raising 2 mamas. Now let's do the numbers. We're going to show you how we're paying for all these hogs. Now let's do the numbers. If we just sold 6 American guinea hog piglets for $175 a piece, which is what we sold them for, which they can go upwards of 200 or more. Now say we just sold, let's just do the numbers on 5. Just say we sold 5 American guinea hogs. 5 hogs are around $875. And I think I did my math right. You can correct me if I didn't. $875, okay? We just sold 7 of the bigger commercial hogs that are now about 6 months old. So 7 of those for $125 average. Some sold for $135, some sold for $110. Let's say $125 average is, I think, $750. So $875, $750, that's what, $1,625 in cash. Okay, now $1,625 that we just made off these piglets within the last 3 to 6 months of selling piglet babies. We buy our feed in bulk. Our bulk it's Tucker Milling. We buy non-GMO pig feed. Quality, quality, quality. I'm paying around anywhere from $14.50 to $15.50 a bag right now. It just depends on the shipping, depends on it coming over. Now shipping's gonna be a little bit higher each time because of the crazy diesel and gas prices that we're dealing with. Feed has been around $15 to $16 a bag, or $14, $15, $16 a bag, somewhere around there. Now, when you add that up, we're buying a pallet load, which is a ton. We're buying a ton of feed. So we'll buy $15 bags, and we'll buy 40 bags of 50 pounds, 2,000 pounds. So that 2,000 pounds is costing $600. So we'll get that pallet of feed for $600, which is 40 bags at 50 pounds in each bag. Now we've done the math. We're running, if we're having a pig that we're growing up. Now we're not counting piglets because piglets do not tend to eat the weight that we're putting or the amount of pounds of food that we're putting out until they get a little bit older and once they're weaned off their mama. So like these 4, we're probably not keeping, but if we do, they'll start that ratio pretty much now because now they are to a point where they're starting to grow up. So on average, we spend about $16 a pig a month to eat. So $16 a pig a month to eat. 2 boars and 3 mamas, that's 5. Then we have 3 other ones that are growing up, that's 8. And then we have 3 more that's growing up, that's 11. And then we have another little girl that we'll probably keep as 12. That's not counting these, okay? So now let's say what it's gonna cost on those 12 to actually raise. Now, the reason I'm not counting these yet is because we just put these up for sale. We sold the other brothers, like we talked about, and these 4 will sell pretty quickly. It's 3 boys left and 1 girl. But let's not count these yet. I mean, that's what we have on farm is the ones we just mentioned before these. So roughly 12 pigs that we're feeding at $16. So that's roughly $190 to $192, $195, somewhere around there. So under $200 a month to feed these pigs. We have about 4 to 6 months left here on farm before we process. We have 3 plus that little girl. We'll probably keep the little girl because she is a pretty little girl, a little mixed pig. But the other 3 will process closer to the end of the year. Now we already, as I said, we have already made $1,600 roughly We pay for the feed, which is a $600 bill. So it still leaves us around $1,000 play money, so to speak. Well, we don't treat, we're not giving them any kind of chemicals, any kind of pesticides, insecticides, any kind of worming, nothing like that. We try to do everything by moving, rotating, keeping a great quality pig by keeping them healthy. We give them basic H and apple cider vinegar monthly on a monthly routine in their water. So therefore now we have $1,000. Well, that's $600 of feed. That 1 ton of feed will get us roughly through a quarter of the year to 6 months, 4 to 6 months. Reason I say that is depending on what time of year we're in this season. So spring and summer, that feed will last us 6 months because we have a lot of abundant garden items that we're giving them when we're not eating them. So if some are spoiling, or we have too much, or we have an abundance we've already preserved, but then some of this lettuce is bolting. Some of these onion heads are done. Some of this corn stalks we're not having. Some of the food that we're eating and partaking, the vegetables we're cooking down, and then we have all this left. We have a pig bucket inside. All that goes to the pigs. So when we're in abundance, they get the excess, which helps conserve their feed bill. Also, because we're raising them in forest, they're supplementally feeding themselves with the forest, because the grubs, the natural hedges, the grass, pigs do eat that, especially if you give it to them in their diet. So we save, so that $600 will get us 6 months. So we're going to place another order of feed, so another $600 to $650. Say fuel has gotten it where it's high. So we're still in surplus. That's $1,250 worth of feed. So that still gives us around $300 to $400 worth of money to operate off of from the initial sale of the piglets for the first set of the year that we sold. Now all these mamas are fixing to drop their first litter, the 2 commercials, and of course the American Guinea Hog mama. Those 3 sets of piglets will be dropped at least once more this year, and most likely twice, as we said. Trying to raise 2 sets of litters a year. Because we have over 300 to 500 pounds of meat in the freezer from us processing pigs earlier this year. We also have the 6 that are growing up to be processed this year. That's enough pork for us for the whole year. So we will sell all of these litters. So we have the 4 that's still in the pig forest to sell, which will bring anywhere from $150 to $175 a piece. Said we sold them all for $150 a piece. That's $600 more to put in our pocket. So now $600 plus the original $300 to $400 extra that we have not spent. It's $1,000. So that will buy the 3rd and 4th sets of feed for this year and the start of next year. That's not counting the 3 sets of piglets that we have not had yet. So those 3 sets of piglets will bring another $1,500 to $2,000 because we're not keeping any of those. So now we have discussed we're raising hogs in the forest. They're eating supplemental a little bit here and there with the hay, with the hedge, with the forest grubs, and all the random stuff that's growing in the forest. We have sold piglets, keeping only what we need for meat, knowing what we're going to raise for lard, which is the American Guinea Hogs, and pork chops and bacons and hams, and of course other things too with the commercial hogs. So now we're in a surplus. It's not costing us anything. We're selling and allowing people to understand the value of buying from a local farmer, and we're having our pork for free. So that's how we raise our pigs, for free, providing us the best quality bacon, hams, and all right here on farm, and also helping other people understand the value of raising pigs, but the value of buying from local farmers. Say you can't raise pigs, find someone that's raising hogs. Enjoy the benefit of helping other farmers and providing for your family at the same time. Wouldn't you agree?
What I smell like.
We're making some rabbit manure, it looks like. A rabbit tea.
Always smells lovely over here.
Smells lovely. So not only are we providing us pork, we're providing the best quality pork because it's non-GMO raised on farm on our organic vegetation that's supplemental grains, raised on our farms that have no fertilization. Also, we're curing our own meats, so we're not putting any kind of nitrates on that are not naturally occurring from the spices that we are using. We have videos on our bacon, we have videos on our ham, we have videos on our smokehouse that you see over there. All those ways. And I want you to understand the value of raising hogs. Hogs are fun to raise. You can make money on hogs, but also you can just pay for your hogs to be free. Now here's the cool thing. Say all this didn't work. Say we still were going, say we didn't have a good litter, we lost some of the litter. Say for instance, we just had a bad success rate, we lost some pigs. if you're getting close on funds and you say, you know what, I still think we're not going to come out even, then you can sell them at process too. We have sold several pigs at process or at market, meaning that we grew them and now we're selling them to someone for slaughter. So we sell this pig, we take it to the butcher, and we may charge $3.50 to $4 per hanging weight pound to take it to the butcher and for someone to have that quality pig. So now we've raised it and we've added one more innovative way to make money, but also save money on the farm, to provide for that person and that family food, but allows us to cover our basis. So say we didn't make enough money to cover our feed, we can sell one at market, maybe make another $150, $200, $250, however much you're wanting to put on your hog, depending on the weight. So there's so many ways to make money, but also save money when raising your pork. And this is just how we raise our pork for free. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let us know what you think on the comments below. If you like these videos, please tell us. Tell us some thoughts of what you like to see from our farm. And ultimately, we hope that you have a wonderful day. God bless. Happy homesteading, y'all.